y'all. Welcome to Interview the Reader, and I have Sean here, who wrote one of my favorite books that I waited for forever and ever to come out with, and I'm sure y'all got really tired of me posting about, but excited to have him here today.
I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so basically I like to find people in the horror community that I see that are kind of always helping everybody else out, being super nice, active, all that kind of stuff. And between your posts that you post about the books that you're reading, your funny videos that you make, just everything about it. And you're always so nice when I see you talking to other people. So I'm like, I have to see if he'll talk to us today. So
Not our privilege.
So, what is basically your favorite thing about the horror community, I guess? What makes you keep coming back, being active instead of just head down, I'm just going to write my books, not do anything? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just it's nice to talk to people that get it. Like, that like understand what makes this stuff fun and cool. And like, listen, by day, I've got a wife, I've got 2 kids, we live in like a little suburban house. We've got plenty of nice neighborhood friends. Nobody gets this stuff. So like to have people that like understand it, and and my wife's weird too. So like we do like horror conventions. She kind of has like her own artwork she does, and like she gets it too, just to sometimes be with the weirdos.
Yes, to like talk about different things.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like people who get it. It's just it is good to be there.
That is fun. I do like that. What gets your horror motor revving? Like, what gets you so excited about horror, I guess, to inspire you to write?
It's what I'm into is like the people who are clearly having fun with what they're doing. Like, like I don't listen, I respect, like the serious horror and the grief horror and the elevated horror. Like I'm here for like, like the sleepover horror. Like, we got some friends together, we're gonna watch something R-rated and it's gonna be like maybe that makes me even more messed up. 'Cause I'm like, I want to have a good time here. Like, I just want to like, see some people getting like hacked up. I want to see some fun creatures, some fun effects. Like, I want to have a good time. And
I definitely appreciate that.
This is how I have a good time. What that says about me, I don't know.
I think it's fun because it's a fun, different direction of horror. Everybody looks at horror and gets into it for different reasons, I think. Some people use grief horror to get through things. You like the fun horror that's fun to get into it. Like, I don't know. I remember sneaking and watching movies like that when I was younger. It was just some little weird part of my childhood. Like, I don't know.
Like, listen, when you were a bunch of 10-year-olds having a sleepover, you wanted to watch like, Friday the 13th movie and like,
and you giggled the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah. No one. Yeah. If you were the kid who was hiding to the blanket, you got ridiculed. Like everyone else was like, "Well, why are you crying?"
That girl just got her head chopped off. No big deal. Oh my goodness. But no, that's exactly so true. I love that. That is so cool. Let's see. Who, if you had to pick somebody, would you think, and this doesn't mean favorite author, who would you think would be like your horror role model? And you can pick a couple because who can just pick one?
Well, listen, I mean, it's a cliched answer, but the honest answer is Stephen King. I mean, like, and everyone says him, but they say him because he's so just good. Like, I would love to just kind of, like, I love, like, to read, like, his little snippets behind the short stories of what he was thinking when, like, he came up with stuff. Like, his process, I feel like, is similar to, like, kind of how I approach things and, how I take, like, little kernels and expand them. It's just, like, just I like his approach to things, and it's similar to my approach to things.
I mean, I know people will say that a lot, but the crazy thing is, though, if you ask them, hey, what was the book? It's always a different one because he has so many, and they are not the same style. I don't care what nobody says. Like, I know it's Stephen King, but it's something different.
No, it's true. Like, listen, he does supernatural. He does stuff that's more grounded. Periodically he'll do like kind of like a noirish thing.
Yeah, the mystery thrillers. I mean, technically, the Dark Tower's fantasy.
Yeah, listen, he's a cliche for a reason because, like, he just no one. And I will be the uncool kid who just says it, but like, no one does it at his level.
No, absolutely agree. It's always a good time, even if it's a bad time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if this is going to go hand in hand, but if you had to pick some favorite authors of yours, and it doesn't have to be horror, of course, but.
Well, listen, obviously Stephen King is up there. I'm a huge fan of Robert McCammon, who was like, you know what? For those of you who may not know, like he was active in that same 80s horror boom period as like Stephen King, Dean Koontz, Clive Barker, and the fact that he is not mentioned in that same conversation is criminal. Like he plays at that same level. Like he does supernatural, he does human interest. Like
So many
he,
different things.
yeah, he is one of the best to ever do it, and like he just does not ever get the credit he deserves.
I can see that. I agree. Because I rarely, ever hear anybody talk about him unless it's in like an older.
Yeah.
I don't want to say older Facebook group, but older.
Well, unless you're like specifically interested in that era of horror, like you're
Yes.
looking for the old '80s paper, and he's still active, like he's still writing. He put out this book, The Border, like 10 years ago, which is like one of the best alien invasion horror novels I've ever read. And like he is still active, he's still good as can be, and he just never gets his laurels.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other authors that you think growing up maybe that you read real hard and you're like, this just kind of molded me a little bit?
Well, listen, I'm a '90s kid, so I read R.L. Stine, like like Goosebumps was my gospel, but like I also sought out like some of the weirder stuff of that era. Like there's this series, like Goosebumps was big, and then all of a sudden like 8 little follow-ups sprung up. There's this series of the Bone Chillers novels.
I think I remember those.
Yeah, and the thing, and they stuck with me. But the thing about those books is like they were like YA, young for kid kind of horror novels, so they couldn't be that graphic. But there was like a meaner edge to those books than the Goosebumps books. Like I think her name was Betsy Haynes. I can't look it up, but the Bone Chillers author did not come to play. Like she did this book, like
The kids might die.
Yeah, no, like she knew what to do. Like she did this book like the young teen protagonist adopted this like supernatural parrot. And like in the middle of the night the parrot would like recite creepy rhymes, and like then people would bad things would happen.
Oh
And of course the specific kid, nobody died. But classic trope, the kid goes to the library to research, creepy parrot murders, and like other people freaking died. Like,
I mean, that's what happens.
Well, like the parrot would like say like a creepy rhyme, like like Paul's different than every Harry, Dick, and Tom. Paul doesn't have a mom, and then
Oh my god, that is that's definitely that's a hair darker than Goosebumps.
Yeah, again,
it's
they
not
wrote
full on Fear Street, but
they straddle a very fine line between like this is still for kids, we can't go too bad, but like there was like a very mean edge to all of those books. So like I found growing up, I found everything I could. Like I would just go to that like section and just if it looked creepy, it was in the box.
No, absolutely. I read some things when I was younger. Some of them I don't even remember reading until I'll be in like the retro horror paperback group and I'll see a cover flash across and I'm like,
I know that one. I remember that one.
And I'm like, memory unlocked of this trauma. It's so crazy. Like there was a book by Ricky, and I'm probably going to butcher his last name, Hatchula.
Yes, I know him.
Not Stone. Like I literally spent a decade not remembering the title, but I remembered like the front of the cover, looking, figuring, trying to figure this out. Until last year, I seen it in one of those groups, and I was like,
he like in particular, he had that whole line of like books with like the little hologram square on the cover.
yes!
And listen, one of my dreams is I want to do a limited edition run of like hologram covers. Like I want to do like an Edith Penn hologram cover. I cannot find anyone online who will do that, like who will place that order, and I would
That's
kill
like the coolest thing, though.
Yeah, I would kill to do that. Once this goes, if anyone knows how to do that, my Facebook is Sean McDonough Horror Author. Please find me and message me. I want that so badly.
So I don't know about the holographic part, but did you see the Josh Mallerman Kickstarter for his graphic novel?
No, I didn't.
Some people. Okay,
No.
So one of the like things that we got was a lenticular inset into the front cover, and I know that's not the holographic one, but if they can do that, why can't somebody figure out? So like maybe we can figure out who's doing that.
I mean, listen, they used to make them by the ton in the '90s. You're telling me now there's nobody who can. Like that technology has not progressed to the point where like you can't do like a limited run of 20
Like, we just used up all of the holographic scratch paper, and it's it, no more. So if you have one, keep hold of it. But no, like, everybody's getting all these cool things in full and stuff. I would scream if I picked up a hard book and it had that.
Yeah, just a little you turn it and it changes. I would die.
I would have to have the whole collection at that point, because like, what? Oh god, that would be so cool. I have a weird question now. I asked it earlier, actually. So I know what you write already, because I have a big stack of your books over here. If you could just go out on a limb and write anything else, and I guess nobody would ever know that it was you that wrote it, like genre-wise, what do you think it would be? Not that you're ashamed of it. It just
No. I take your point. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm a little torn between, I've always kind of like, like I like the Lee Child, Jack Reacher books. Like, I'm a big fan of those. I like the Raymond Chandler books. I mean, I'd like to kind of try my hand at that kind of like hard boiled, like crime mystery. But the thing is, like, my writing style is very like, I'm a pantser, not a plotter. I could not begin to fathom how one writes a mystery. Like, because you have to know. You have
I was
to
going to say, you got to know the problem and the solution.
You have to, and like you have to have it understood enough that you can like do misdirects, and I don't have enough planned ahead of time to figure that out. And I
You
also
brought
like
such a good funny one though, like a little bit of your humor into it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And also like if you've read like a lot of my stuff, like I emphasize like like the human component and like the relationships and like the banter. Like I would kind of like to write like a rom-com, but like the thing is like when I start a plot, I do not know how to fill out a plot without people dying in it. Like I could not be like, we're just gonna do the relationships and figure out like the plot around it. I'm like, no, someone has to die. I can't do it. I just no. If there's no death, I'm not there.
That's so damn funny though, but it's true. Like, I can imagine sitting down trying to write this, and you're just like, somebody's got to go. Somebody. There's just too many characters. That's so funny, but that is cool. A rom-com would be very funny, especially since I see all your little viral videos. Which, by the way, I'm calling them viral videos, because if they don't go viral, I'm literally gonna riot. I do not understand. They are hilarious. So tell me, the inspiration, how you got there and decided, man, I need wigs.
Well, specifically, I guess we'll start at the beginning. Was just like, listen, like I'm like a millennial, like everyone else. Like I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I see all these videos of people doing like both sides of a conversation, and separately, in the Books of Horror group. And like if you're not in there, you should be. It's the best place to talk about horror on Facebook. Like I did like my little snippets of just like like pages from books with my little jokes, and like I'm not to toot my own horn, I'm a funny guy. Like I like making jokes, I like making people laugh. And like the more like I did my thing, like just typed out, and the more like I saw this kind of like format of videos taking off, like I saw how I could connect them. And it's just and whether or not they go viral, like I enjoy doing them. Like it's fun to like kind of like for 30 seconds, like just kind of be a joker and do these little skits.
You can definitely tell this is something you do because you like it. It's so infectious. Every time I see either one on Facebook or TikTok or get an alert, I'm like, okay, I have to stop what I'm doing and go see what this is about, because it is going to be hilarious.
Yeah, honestly, it comes from such just like a love of the material. Like I'm not mean spirited. I'm not like, how can anyone like this? Because like I love this. Like I'm here because I think
these are real thoughts, though. Like, look at them covers. They do not match the interior. I'm specifically referencing that one video that you had. Like, but that was the fun part of those books. So I remember loving those covers. I didn't care that they didn't match. I'm just like, yes, art.
Yeah. Well, just to me though, the Breeze Horror like really just stands out because it is just, for those of you who don't know, there's a book called The Breeze Horror, and the reason it's called The Breeze Horror is that it's set on Sea Breeze Island, and it's like a bleak, grisly, like zombie apocalypse novel of just like, it is not fun. It is like a really kind of bleak, splatterpunk, grim novel. But the cover is like just like a window with like a blowing curtain, like meant to look like a demonic face because the breeze is moving it. So like clearly someone didn't even like the synopsis of the freaking book. They're like, oh, The Breeze Horror. Yes, Scary Wind. Cool. Done. Carry on.
But it's hilarious that like, and then there's such a little cult following for these books, and it's just like, somebody loved this enough to where it just took off, and I love that because somebody loved it.
Yeah.
Even if it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Listen, clearly I love it because I'm just like, I'm out there. It's like, 30 years later trying to find as many things as I can and like reading them. And like my TBR at any given time is like 90% used crap that I've scrounged from wherever just because that's what I like.
That's what I grew up reading.
I mean, like, I feel bad. Like, now I have like author friends. I have people who are like, we did a book swap. I have your book. I have like so many of my friends.
And you're like, I just got these out of the dumpster and I've got to read them.
Yeah,
right now.
Exactly. There are, at any given time, there are 9 dumpster books. I can't read your book, my friend. I have dumpster books.
It's so fun though. I just, like, when I've said it a million times probably, but when I was younger, there was not a ton of horror books. Like, they were a thing, but they were not a thing in my area. You were not going to the library to get them. There wasn't, friends to borrow them from. But I would go to the flea market and get one of those big banana boxes for $5, and it's like a ton of the old books. And I'm like, and I would just read them because I didn't care. That's what I had, and I don't know. It's made reading easier, and now that's what I base a lot of my reading now on. I'm like, is it as good as that stuff that I used to read? Crazy stuff.
It's funny you said specifically banana boxes because I've had to move around a little bit in my life, and I've obviously got like a massive library. The banana box is the best box for books because it is meant to hold bananas, which are heavy and they're big. So it's like a big box. Like, it is a big, large box that is sturdy enough to hold.
Yes.
Like, whenever I move banana boxes. Yeah.
But I grew up reading like the Ricky Hatchell one is one I specifically remember finding in one of those boxes, and that book like fucked me up for a while. And I'm like, I miss all the things like that, or the Ellery Queen magazine, or the Reader's Digest and stuff. And I'm like, I love having books on demand these days, but there's something just about finding dumpster books or banana box books that's just. I found Welcome to Horrorland in a dumpster one time, and I was like, this is the craziest thing ever. And I immediately read it. I'm like, why did you throw this away?
Yeah, like I love used bookstores. I love thrift books and whatever. Like a couple months ago, I had my daughter, and like, she had like her little football game, and I was taking her from football to something else, and I had like 20 minutes to kill because like that's just the window I had. So just like, out of like, I'm looking on like whatever, and I see there's like a comic book store nearby. So I just think like, not like a nice one, like one of those little strip mall hole in the walls. So I just figured like, we'll look at the comics. The kids like graphic novels. I can pick up a comic book every now and again. Let's just go in the store to kill some time. Zero foreknowledge, zero warning. At the back of this comic store was 3 full bookshelves of old, like there was one for sci-fi novels, there was one for like whatever, and then there was one for straight horror. And like this was like a treasure trove under my nose for like $4 a pop. He wasn't even trying to price gouge. He was just like, they're just sitting here, man. Listen,
just take them.
Just like he was like on a ladder, like because like he had them stacked 3 deep. He's like, I got this one back here by this guy. I got this one by that guy. And I'm just like, just give.
I miss that. Like Goodwills, thrift stores, old bookstores, junk stores. I don't care. I always find either A, something I was looking for, or B, something I did not know I needed. Because like, I don't care if I know who the author is or not. Like if that cover looks crazy and that synopsis looks good and it's under $5, it is coming home with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of the best things. And what I was going to say earlier is I am kind of glad that I see people going towards book covers for new books that kind of remind me of older books.
Yeah.
Because I miss that. If someone would just do Christopher Pike's old books from like the 80s, I would probably just buy every book they ever put out. Just, there's something about it when I see that neon color and then the weird little cutout picture. I'm just like, yes, this is going to be perfection. Anyway, So, for a few minutes, or a few minutes, go on as long as you want. I want you to tell me about this book. I want to know. Well, I mean, clearly, what was your inspiration? I know, but like, tell me all about it. Everything
Almost
that I don't know about this book because it
it's
was
what
so much
we
fun.
well, you know, it's a fine lead up. It's like it's what we've been talking about. Not another 80s horror novel was just born out of such a love for that era and all the tropes that went into it. And I just wanted just like to make a book that just reveled in all of that. And like, you know, like I've done like some book clubs, I've done like some groups, and like, you know, like I have to kind of preface like, I don't know how familiar you are with this stuff, but like if you want to stay, I will talk to you, I will take you by the hand and walk you through every effort, reference, and author that came into this.
It was just so much fun. I kept catching myself just stopping, and I'm just like, it's just every 80s horror, everything that I remember and loved about it was just right there, but it wasn't clunky, it wasn't chunky, it was just amazing. I didn't want to stop reading it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's just again, it was so much fun just to do and blend and try and see how much I could fit into there without it becoming too unwieldy.
I think you did a great job. And so I guess my second question is, do you plan on doing anything kind of related to that going forward?
I mean, listen, not another 80s horror sequel is certainly a possibility at any given time. It's just, you know,
Of
right
course you
now I'm working on a book that I call the Great Long Island Horror Novel because I'm from Long Island, so like it's a very suburban New York Italian horror restaurant like.
Oh,
And like it's a little, I don't know if you've read Edith Penn, but it's a little more in the style of Edith Penn, a little more not too serious because clearly I'm just always ridiculous, but like a little more straightforward. And I'm working on that now. And my process, like listen, these authors that can crank out a book in 6 months, God love them, but like, I can't do it. Like, like I need a little more time.
just a tad bit.
Yeah, but like that's what I got next, and then from there, like, it's always like an interesting thing. Like, do you want to do a sequel? Do you want to go back to something you've done before? Or do you have like another idea that's cooking and you wanna get into it?
That's good. Good. So I guess since we just talked about what you got cooking, what do you have cooking showing up wise? Like I want to know about the events that you travel to, but I also really like to ask you guys like what are local ones that you do, if you have any that are
I
local.
know.
I know
Listen,
some people do.
I mean, my region is certainly not bad. Next up, I have Books and Brews in Indianapolis. And are you going to be there?
Yeah.
Yes, I will see you. Awesome, excellent. So books. I have Books and Brews first week in August. If you're not in the Indianapolis area, it's going to be fantastic. A real murderer's row of talent. Uh,
Yeah.
I have that, and then in September I do a thing in Connecticut, CT Horror Fest.
Ooh, I don't think I've heard of that, but that is cool.
That's a really it's funny. Like I more than like horror author events, I do like a lot of like the mixed horror media events, like like just like general horror conventions, like like spooky markets. Because listen, I love my friends, I love my author buddies, but when like you're one of 60 authors, you're all sharing the same pie. If you just go to like
Yes.
a horror event and there's only like 3 or 4 authors, it's like you clearly love horror just to be here. But if you love books, I'm only one of 3 games in town. Come to me.
Yes, I went to one last year that was local. It was a horror event. It was just a small one, but there
Right.
was one person that had manga there, and it was horror manga, and it was
Yeah.
the only person. And I love horror stuff, but
Yeah.
like I love to read, so I zoomed right in. I was like, yes, please. Tell me.
Exactly. So like if there's a manga fan in the house, like that's the only game. Everyone comes to him. But
Yes.
so yeah, so I've got CT Horror Fest in September. In October, I do a local event. It's called Moonlight Market. Like they do, it's a Long Island, New York event. It's all just kind of like kind of spooky vendors. But I'm an author there. There's this guy Michael Lamo, Laimo. Like he was like, and this is kind of cool. Like I read him when I was like like high school, college. He was like a leisure books author. And he's still in the game, and like now like his daughter's a little older. Like she does like fantastic artwork, and they go together. Like his daughter has her paintings, he has his books, and they just hang out.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah. No, it's very cool. It's like I met him a couple times. We hang out at that. He's at I think he's at CT Horror Fest again this year. So I have those two, and then November, I think I've got an event in Brooklyn, and then December's kind of quiet, Christmas, and then January I'll be at Dark Drafts in Pennsylvania.
I was so like I had such FOMO from missing that last year. Well, watching Clay run around on video, but like just the drinks and just the atmosphere,
Yeah.
it was the craziest thing.
I was invited last year, but I had a family vacation in Mexico, so I couldn't go. And then I saw it, I was like, God damn it, I missed this. So
Right?
I made sure I was there this time. Like I am ready to rock and roll.
Between that and Scares That Cares, like just the pictures I saw, I was like, I hate it. I mean, I love seeing the pictures, but I had regrets.
Yeah, I did Scares the last 2 years. I'm gonna miss it this year because it's bumped up to February, and just the timing's not gonna work out for me. But Scares is another. Listen, business wise, I prefer it when I'm the only author or one of few authors because then, like, I can make money.
Yeah.
But to be amongst the people, like, like I've met so many other authors online through conversations, just to get to be together and like talk and just hang out with them is just very.
There's something weirdly magical about it. Like I'm one of those people. I weirdly am very, very, very introverted. Like I hate it. But I went to Dragon Con and I was like panicking because I'm like, man, this is a lot of people. But like it just felt like normal, no big deal.
Yeah.
Everybody was just so nice. I don't know. And it was a bunch of nerds.
The reality is, like, there's not a lot of people that do what we do. So an opportunity just to kind of be together in person and just speak the same language. I said this, at the beginning. To speak the same language together is nice.
You get to let a little bit of a mask slip, I think, and that is very nice because I know in real life I am not talking to people about the stuff that I'm reading.
Exactly. Yeah. No, listen, I'm not at a neighborhood barbecue asking who read the latest, like who read an old John Skip and Craig Spector book. They don't understand.
Yes, exactly. And it's just, I don't know, it's just what makes the horror community so good for me as well is, I don't know, there's just always a space for someone somewhere in it. Yeah. There's so many subgenres. So, let's see. What do you think that you would pass down wisdom-wise to any authors that are even starting out or wanting to start writing?
Well, the thing especially people who are just starting, the thing I always say is, whatever you're working on, whether you think it's going good, whether you think it's going bad, long novel, short story, whatever you're doing, finish a draft. Like, get something done from start to end, because that's a skill by itself, just learning to finish something, just learning to finish and not walking away. And also, even if you hate something, even if you think it's boring, even if you think it's not working, whatever it is, until you have a completed draft, you don't know what you have. You can always, it is a process. Like, you can change whatever you want. You can edit, you can revise, you can take characters out, put characters in. But until you have a completed story, you don't know what to do with it. So
that is a good thing to think about too, because and finishing it doesn't mean that that's it. Like, you aren't going to put the last word and it's going to immediately be jetted out to the Washington Times.
Yeah, like people think that, like, especially if they're like new to it, they're like, oh, well, then it's done. I'm like, no. The first draft is just the beginning of where you're going. But
I don't even send a first draft email, and we are definitely not sending a first draft book. But no.
No, but it's like it's a skill by itself. It's a skill to learn how to see something through from the beginning to the end. And then, listen, you don't really know if it's trash until you have it. And then you can always look at it and figure out what's not working, what is working. It may not be salvageable. You may look at it and think like, okay, no, this was bad, but then at least it's done. At least.
And then you know why. Well, after you finish and you realize it's bad, then you can figure out why it's bad, and the next one doesn't have to be like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially, like, listen, if you're just starting and you like, it's interesting, like, kind of with the rise of indie horror is great. It's great that people can do anything. It's great that anyone can walk in there. There's also this kind of perception that, like, you're like, once you finish something, like, it's kind of like a ticket to like the show, and you can like be in these groups and talk to people, and like people will pay attention to you. And like, that is the wrong way to go about it. Like, you have written something because you wanted to write. And maybe people care, maybe they don't. Like, you can't control that. But like, you have to learn it for you. And then from there, if you want to do it again, that's almost like, now I'm talking out loud. Like, this is almost like the best test. Like, if you write a whole book and nobody gives a shit, do you want to write a second one, or are you done? Because if nobody cares and you're done, then that means you don't really care about writing. You care about it.
Yes.
I mean, I wrote two, and before I was fortunate enough to kind of like get some attention. Like, I wrote two entire ass books. I wrote Beverly Kills, I wrote Territorial Show Mountain, and I just kind of like sent out some review copies like a jackass, and I just kind of got a couple of reviews, which I appreciate them, trust me, but like I did not get into like convention events. I did not get into books of horror on Facebook. I did not get any kind of social media following until like my third, fourth book. So like if that's all I cared about, I would not have been here. Because I would have read the first book and no one would have given a shit and I would have been done.
I just told someone the other day, I was like, what was it? We were talking about writing. And I was like, it's not like, and before I say this, I have spent almost my entire adult life working in warehouses. But like, I know what it's like working in a warehouse, and I don't want to do that every day. If I looked at writing a book, like working in a warehouse, that's a boring job. You need to want to write your book.
Yeah. Well, but also like some people see like writing one book as like their ticket out of the warehouse. It does not work that way.
No, that's your step up into the platform to make sure you can keep going.
Yeah. Like listen, if you don't enjoy doing it, you're not going to get far. Like if you don't like,
because you can tell, like your readers will be able to tell.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. And also like you're not going to be able to keep going. Like if you don't enjoy doing it, you can't keep going. Like this is a grueling process.
It is. I'm not a writer, but like I have told, like when Gage talks about word count or John Ward talks about word count, I'm like, it starts to make my chest tight because that sounds like it's so many words. I sat down to write a review the other day and I was doing it in Word and I turned the word count on and I'm like, I can't even look at this. How do they write whole books? And I'm not even making it up. I'm just pulling it out of my head from what I just read. You guys are building worlds. Yeah. Jesus. Get off my soapbox real quick, but oh my god. But anyway, yes, it's just so creative. I love that, and I really think people need to listen to that as well. If you don't love it, like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Let's see. We already talked about your projects, all of that fun stuff. Is there anything else you want to share or talk about before we go? Oh, let's talk about horror movies.
Okay, all right, I'm in.
Okay, yes. Tell me some of your favorite horror movies. And these can be long, old, and actually, you know what? They don't even have to be horror because we're kind of sci-fi and all that other fun stuff too. So,
well, listen, you'll be astounded to find I'm a big '80s fan. But like, listen, I love the legends. I love Freddy. I love Jason. I love Hellraiser. I love Chucky. I love going on Tubi and finding garbage no one's seen anywhere. I saw a movie recently, like to be more recent. Like it was on Prime Video. The title escapes me. All right, it's on Amazon Prime. It doesn't matter. It's on Amazon Prime Video. It's a slasher set of like a Halloween spooky walk. Like one of those attractions. Like the killer's in like the attraction and he's killing the actors. He's killing guests, but like it's filmed at like a real Midwest haunted attraction. Like they got into the actual event to do it.
Oh, okay.
And again, it's just I always talk about like the fun. You remember the name of that movie, my wife?
I love that movie. It was so good. I heard you from the other room.
Come to the screen. It's worse if you're not.
No, it's we. I don't want to be on the screen, but we heard you from the other room, and I was like, I loved that movie.
Do you remember the name?
No. But I like the one. What was the one that was like Hellfest?
Hellfest was similar. Bloodfest.
Bloodfest. The Bloodfest. That was a good one also. But the one specifically that you were talking about, I loved that movie.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up after we get off here and probably watch the movie instead of edit.
I'm gonna find the name. Like it kills me that I don't have the name. Like I can't recognize because all these names kind of bleed together after a while. Like all these cheap horror movies. But like again, like it's shot at a real like active attraction. So like everything looks authentic, everything looks real, and it's like again like a thing.
It was so good.
It was so good.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm leaving the room. Sorry.
It's weirder that I can't.
Everyone.
It's weirder that I can't see you.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, but like like I talk about like the importance of the human element. Like you don't have to be like writing Shakespeare, but like you have to give the people some personality, so like you're invested when bad things happen to them.
Like, okay, I do not finish. I just don't. It just doesn't happen because like I gotta finish it to see if it sucks or not.
Yeah.
But like there was a book that I hated everybody in it so much that it took me like 4 months to read, and I will never tell anybody who it is. They can dig through every book I've read for my entire life and find the rating. But like seriously, I didn't care about none of the characters, even though the story premise is absolutely something I would usually love.
Yeah. Like, and again, like now we're talking about Stephen King again, but like, like if you read like, The Dark Half, which is the book about, the author whose pseudonym comes to life, like there's that scene where like, the state trooper finds, the truck in the parking lot. And listen, like that's essentially just like a plot moving scene. Like, like he finds a truck with like the blood in it. And like, now we know all the guys on the move. But like, he spends time with that state trooper. Like you're in his head. Like he's like doing an internal monologue. He's talking about his approach to being a cop, and this guy's like his little like New England.
It makes it real.
It makes you invest. Like this is not like just like we're not just moving pieces on a board. Like there's like a person you're hanging out with.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to do that. Like whatever you're doing, whether like you're doing the cheapest of slashers or like the grandest of elevated horror, like you need to spend time with these people so you understand who they are. And they can be stupid, they can be idiots, they can be, unlikable. They can be jackasses, but like you need to understand like
you got to tell me why. Something.
They need to like exist in their own context. Like they are a whole ass person who's maybe just going to get decapitated smoking weed, but like they existed.
But that person, doesn't think they're horrible. So tell me why they don't think they're horrible. So I feel something.
Yeah. Well, like, listen, that's how you get invested.
Yes, exactly. Like, what was I going to say? Is it a movie? Oh, like I sat down and watched an entire movie about a rubber tire that kills people. Which
yes, I haven't seen it, but I know about it. Yeah.
Why? I have no idea, but I wanted to know why it was killing people or like who made it, something, Yeah. And I don't remember why, but I remember enjoying it, and that's all that really matters. I loved movies, 80s movies, because we had movie rental. That was what we had where I grew up. You just went on down. It wasn't even a Blockbuster. It was just some off-brand, I guess. I don't know, licensed. And you would go down there and you'd search through the weird horror section because there wasn't much and find something. I watched some of the weirdest things. Let's see. What, I guess, out of the last 2 years, horror movie-wise, have you just liked?
I loved Hard Eyes. Which was
I watched that one.
You didn't watch that one?
I don't think so.
Okay, that was I think it's on Netflix now, but like it was theatrical. They put it out there. It is a throwback 90s slasher, but it is a slasher rom-com.
Yes, I haven't watched it yet. Now I know. Yep. I gotta watch it.
But the reason it works is like it does not skimp on either side. Like it is a straight up slasher. Like these are not wimpy kills.
Sorry, I'm not part of this either, but I also love that movie.
My better half.
Yes.
No, but like it is like the slasher half is like a badass slasher. Like I mean, it is gory, it is violent. Like these are not wimpy kills. But the rom-com side is developed. Like I mean, like there is a will they, won't they. There is chemistry. There's tension. Like it plays both sides all the way, and that's why it works.
I love that. I am definitely gonna look into that. Like when I saw that, it made me laugh a little bit because I know it's not the same thing, but it reminded me of Happy Death Day and all of those.
It's a similar vein, like and it is, and and there's no shame in this because clearly I do it. Like it is funny, like there is humor, there is like some like life to it, but like it does like again like it is a horror movie. Like it's not PG-13, it is not playing light with the gore. Like it's there to be a horror movie, but It understands that it's playing both sides, and it works so well.
I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. I love to comb through streaming services to find just the movies that nobody's watching or whatever, because I've found just some crazy things.
Yeah. Well, like listen, streaming is an interesting animal because on the one hand, like, there's so many problems with like, the consult, like, just like the way that the media comes together and like, like all that when they make new things, like all the ways that they kind of make it like, like palatable to the masses in like the most benign way possible. But like, especially like something like Tubi or like, some of like the lower end streamers, like they need to fill a library. So to
Yes.
fill a library, they pull the dregs of whatever and put it out there, like in a way that you can get it, almost like you used to do at like like the Blockbuster, because like Blockbuster's got to fill a shelf. So we got some random shit here.
I found like this random movie called, if I'm not mistaken, it was called The Domain or Domain, and I don't want to spoil it or anything, but like you spend this entire movie with this set of people that like a natural disaster, apocalyptic, something's happened, and they're in these bunkers, and like it's one person per bunker, and they're in pods where they talk to each other via video or whatever, and like you go through this whole movie, and then the end happens, and I literally gasped, and that doesn't happen to me very often because I almost always figure it out, and I'm like, why has no one ever talked about this? This is crazy.
I mean, yeah, listen, there is weird, like there's almost, it's almost in its own way, it's almost, there is like this layer of streaming when there's this renaissance of like like cheap straight to video, like creative stuff that now becomes cheap straight to streaming creative stuff, and you just kind of got to wade in there and you got to look for it.
Yes, absolutely. And don't always trust reviews. Sometimes if you think it's interesting, just watch it or read it.
Yeah. Listen, if you're a streamer, you paid a subscription, your money's already in the pod. It's just watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Have you been, so I talked about this to somebody else, how excited I was, like horror TV shows are starting to become like more popular. I remember when you got like one a decade or something like that. And now like there's options. There's still not enough, so I'm going to complain, but there's just options from technically Squid Games, and then different foreign ones like Dark.
Yeah.
You watch any of those?
On Shudder, they did like a Creep Show revival as a streaming series, and that's phenomenal.
I feel like they did just as good with that. Like I feel like I wasn't missing anything. It was
exactly like it was like listen, it's like listen, it's the K&B guys, it's Greg Nicotero, like he knows what he's doing. Like it is just.
And then DJ Qualls got to be in one, and I'm like, oh, done.
To say. They got some good actors. They got DJ Qualls. They got Anna Camp. They had Johnny Drama from Entourage. I forget his real name, but like I think like Johnny Drama situates him.
I love Shudder. I find not weird things like that technically. Channel Zero I found on there, and I'm like, okay, this is wild. I need them to hurry up and finish a couple. There was a TV show called Slasher I found on there.
We tried. We didn't get into it, but like, listen, I respect it. It's I mean, Fallout's amazing. The Fallout TV show.
I cannot believe how good that was.
Yeah.
Do you play horror video games or any video games actually?
I do play. Listen, I play a lot of RPGs. I play a lot of a lot of that kind of stuff. I played The Quarry, which was like, I don't know if you're familiar with it. Like, there's this series of games that are basically like they're playable horror movies. Like like it's not really like like a active video game. Like you're watching almost like a horror movie, but like you make decisions. And there are like some like quick time events where you have to like press this button at just the right time, and like your choices influence.
It's like a choose your own horror game.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, like it's there's a whole series of them. Like I forget the name of the series. It's like House of Ashes is one of them. Listen, if you like that kind of stuff, you're gonna find the name of the series. But like The Quarry is the one I'm talking about. QUARRY. So just look up that one if you want, if you're watching this. But like. It's like, like it's basically like a summer camp werewolf movie where you influence what happens. You have to do these little like quick event games. And I got to the end of this game and I had been making some pretty good decisions, I thought. And like I had been all these like quick little games, I had been nailing them. Because like if you nail the little game, people live. If you screw it up, people die. I got to the finale of this game movie, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I just shit the bed on every single one of these checks, and I got like 4 people killed.
Oh my god!
I was like, and like there's like it's auto saves. You can't control when you save. Like I was completely effed, and I was like, it mattered to me. Like I had played this whole thing. I was invested. I'm like, I'm here. I'm gonna get them out, and I just tanked it.
Oh, that's hilariously fucked up.
It is. It is.
So that's funny because I tested a board game with John Conn, and I cannot remember what it's called, but the board is in the shape of a hatchet. I don't think it's released yet. But you basically had one person who is the DM, or would be the GM of it, and he's the killer. And then the rest of you guys are working together but separately, trying not to get yourselves killed, everybody else killed, find all the clues and stuff. And like you pull cards. The killer's got his own cards to wipe you off the board with. It reminds me of that, but a little crazier.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great game. Like I really enjoyed playing it. I'm just like I'm so mad at myself that like, I had not missed a single one of these little quick games, but I just lost it. I just cracked under pressure, and all of a sudden like everybody's dead.
I'm gonna have to look that up now though. It does sound fun. It sounds very stressful, fun.
No, and listen, like like the presentation is great. Like they got David Arquette in it. They got Ariel Winter, Brenda Song. Like I think his name is like Justin Justice. Like the kid from Detective Pikachu. His last name's Justin for sure. I forget his first name, but.
This sounds fun. I used to play this board game. It was CSI, a board game where you would catch a killer or whatever, and you would have to make choices and stuff. Okay, I'm done. I love Choose Your Own Adventure and all that stuff. I'm looking it up after this. But yeah, that does sound fun. Anyway, I don't want to keep you too much longer because I know you've had a long day. So thank you so much for coming and talking to me about all of this stuff. I always love to find out like the weird little things that make you guys tick. It's fun.
Well, listen, thank you for having me. I love being here.